to
the Radio Wammo Breakfast
the voice of the creative economy.
with Vincent Heeringa.
yeah, from idealog.co.nz. Good morning, Vincent.
Good morning, Wammo.
Fresh from the World Class New Zealander Awards last night.
Yes, indeed. It's a world-class event. It's a big event these days. It started about 5 years ago as a way of kind of rewarding and acknowledging New Zealanders who are in high places overseas. So, high-performing artists or business people or just high achievers, really, who are flying the Kiwi flag overseas.
Run by the Kia Network.
Now, the Kia Network's a really interesting organisation. About 10 years ago, so we're going into the prehistoric times, Stephen Tyndall and a Kiwi based in California called David Teese thought, there are so many New Zealanders overseas that actually want to kind of help New Zealand or participate in New Zealand life, but don't necessarily want to live in New Zealand. So they started this thing called the Kiwi Expats Association, which was a kind of virtual community of Kiwis who have kind of signed up to a pledge to be involved, to network, to assist other New Zealanders in their enterprise. And it's really grown. When it started, it was a great idea, and I talked to Stephen Tyndall last night, and he said, you start these things with such a rush of enthusiasm and excitement, but you go into the valley of death in kind of years 2 and 3, where kind of the romance is over, people have forgotten about you, and you're on the grind to build it up. But then it's now reached about 30,000 members around the world.
It's huge, isn't it?
It is massive.
And they're all quite influential in their own right, every individual member, right?
Yes, I think one of the criteria to be involved or to be invited is that you are in some sort of position of authority or power, or you've achieved, in some capacity. So you're not just happening to live in Gold Coast, but you are, in California or Germany or Afghanistan, doing something interesting.
Yeah.
And those 30,000 people are just an absolute microcosm of something like, the estimation is that there are 1 million New Zealand passport holders out there in the world. Yeah. Which, the way that Kia has sort of propositioned itself is to say it's uniting, or it's reaching out to the to the Kiwi diaspora.
And Dave Dobbins tried to woo them home time after time, but it hasn't quite worked.
Well, we live in it's easy to live in other places, it's easy to travel to other places, so rather than forcing people to come back home, why not, reach out to them where they are and get them to feel a little bit of Kiwi.
Have there been any tangible benefits that you know of the Kia network?
I think one of the, I know a couple of examples of where, particularly in a business sense, if you are wanting to get into the Californian market, for instance, there's a very strong California chapter for Kia. And, they'll do things like they will hook you up with people in your area. So they're particularly strong in the technology sector, so around the San Francisco, Silicon Valley area. There's a bunch of Kiwis there that will hook you up with, potential customers and potential partners. So that's worked quite well. And then Chris Liddell and you might remember, but he was the boss of GM, and before that was the chief financial officer of Microsoft.
Right.
And his wife Bridget Wickham have been very influential in making Kia happen in the United States, and then through the Kia network have actually encouraged other New Zealanders into jobs and places in the States.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
And the most visible expression of that, I can't say it's directly attributable to Kia, but it's through this kind of network that the dude who is replacing Chris Liddell in a senior position at GM is also a Kiwi, whose name I just have forgotten for the moment.
That's right. I'd imagine that the network has become quite important for getting the word out about the Christchurch recovery as well.
Yes, in fact, if you go to the Kia website, they have a fundraising scheme going at the moment, and they announced last night that group, that 30,000, are responsible for raising $3 million so far for Christchurch. So it kind of shows the power of, $3 million is a drop in the bucket for Christchurch, but out of 30,000 people, that's not a bad effort.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows the level of, I suppose, wealth and influence that these people have. Anyway, shall I just tell you quickly about the winner?
Yes, absolutely.
Interesting guy.
Yeah.
You'd expect something like this to be typically given to a business person, but actually the way these awards work is it's about achievement in any capacity. And the winner is a guy called Dr. Howard Harper, who is an ophthalmologist. Started out life as a missionary in Pakistan. Tells a lovely story, actually, of going as a 20-year-old to Pakistan to help out in a missionary capacity, and was approached by a man with a horse that had a broken leg, and the man too had a broken leg, and asked if this man, Howard Harper, could help him. And Howard said, well, I can't actually, sorry, but what I will do is go back and train myself as a doctor. So he went back to England, where he had been based, and trained as a doctor, then went back to Pakistan and Afghanistan, and
Wow.
has been it's just like an amazing forgotten story.
I was going to say it's like a fable, isn't it? Or is it straight away, it's like the person on the side of the road who needs help,
Yeah,
a
exactly.
few people walk
Like a little
past.
parable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the Good Samaritan. Well,
Yeah,
he
that's
did
it, yeah.
indeed go back to Afghanistan and Pakistan, and has been responsible for, in the last 50 years, setting up a range of hospitals and schools and eye clinics. And I'm just looking here at the story there. Yeah, 10 eye clinics throughout Asia, a hospital, and 2 schools. He said the organisation that he'd been working with, he performed the first cataract operation in Pakistan, and since then that organisation has gone on to do 6 million cataract operations.
Blimey. Wow.
So an absolutely inspiring guy. Spent 50 years of his life in Central Asia, and sort of dedicated to helping people. So pretty inspiring guy, and and very humbling, actually. The kind of guy that just doesn't seek out the limelight. So it was a worthy winner.
So, yeah, now that he's a world-class New Zealander, surely he will get to fly business class on Air New Zealand anytime and anywhere, you'd imagine.
Air New Zealand was the sponsor of that category, so
There you go.
maybe he will. He just didn't strike you as the kind of guy that would give a damn about
Yeah.
flying business class.
No, you're right. Yeah, wow. That's very, very, very cool. And thanks for letting us know about that, because I don't think there's enough sort of publicity around these things.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And one other thing that's quite cool is he is only one of 2 foreigners to be given an Afghanistani passport by President Karzai.
Huh. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know if that's an honour, actually.
am I right to say that Phil Kogan was a winner in the past year?
He has been,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, that shows the range of
Yeah.
kind of achievements, with a kind of reality TV star.
Yeah.
They're interesting. Dr. Anne Salmon was acknowledged last night, probably the foremost historian on particularly around the Treaty of Waitangi.
And I'm going to forget his name, but I think he went off to be the Chancellor or Vice Chancellor of Oxford University.
John Hood,
That's
yes. That he was, I think, the inaugural winner about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So they've had some very impressive guys winning these awards. Richard Taylor has been in the past as well. So you can be resident here, but the qualification or the criteria is that you're a New Zealand-born high achiever in whatever field you are, and acknowledged kind of on the world stage.
Well, very nice having a world-class conversation with you, Vincent.
It's a pleasure, Wammo.
Vincent Heeringa is over at Idealog as well, idealog.co.nz.